Hey everyone, welcome back to On Purpose, the #1 health podcast in the world, where we get to dissect stories of people who are living with purpose, people who are living with meaning, people who are living an incredible life based on their passion and transforming lives and the world through it. Now, today's guests, if you haven't heard about them, I am so excited for you to learn about them. Not only are they listeners of the podcast, they're dear friends of mine, and they've made an effort to be here in between their crazy schedule of what they've been up to. So I want to tell you a bit about our two incredible guests today, and here I go. So Adil El Arbi and Bilal Fallah are the newest set of big budget studio directors you will want to keep tabs on. Moroccans by way of Belgium, they partnered in film school and are known for writing and directing the feature films Image 2014, Black 2015, and Patsa 2018. And they are the directors of the smash hit Bad Boys for Life. If you've not seen it, make sure you go check it out. I saw it twice in the week that it dropped, starring, of course, the one and only Will Smith and the awesome Martin Lawrence. LRB says, our movies are for a generation who doesn't have dreams. We want to give them a voice. I can't wait to hear their voices today. Welcome to the show, Adil and Bilal. It's so good to have you here, man.
Bro. Jay. How you doing?
I was so excited for your guys' energy to come to the podcast because I remember the first time we went out for dinner, and then when we hung out together, and then back at the premiere as well. I mean, you guys you literally ooze authenticity.
Thank
you just have that energy and vibe. Like whenever I'm with you, I feel like you're being totally yourself. You're just super down to earth. You're super grounded. And despite all your amazing success that you're having, you're just good human beings, man. So
thanks,
Thank
man.
you, brother.
It means a lot that it comes from you. So.
yeah, I mean it.
It's such a big honor to be here.
Yeah,
man.
and a privilege.
Well, no, I'm excited to dive into your stories today. You've got a phenomenal story. And I think anyone who's listening and watching today, this is one of those stories that's going to make you dream again. It's one of those stories that helps you realize the value of hard work and the value of what it takes to really chase your dreams. And I think both of you embody that. So let's dive straight into it. And I want you to talk about, the first thing is, I want you to tell me about a funny memory that you two shared at film school when you met in St. Lucas.
Well, St. Lucas in Brussels was a very artistic school, and it was actually full of white people, and we're Moroccans,
Yeah.
and
Really?
yeah, 100%. and I was very shy and not really sociable, and I didn't talk a lot, and I also didn't know how to dress well, and so I was like in my corner, and then came somebody that was really loud.
I wasn't that loud, but
Yeah, but it was like the Fresh Prince came in, Fresh Prince of Brussels. And, Bilal Fallah, who was talking to everybody, and I was like, who's this loud guy?
yeah, but I was like, I only saw like white people. And I was like, what's going on? And in the corner, I saw Adil, and I'm like, is that a Moroccan? Is that a Moroccan? So I went to him and I said, yo, you Moroccan?
And I said, yeah.
And then we became brothers.
Yeah,
It was
right,
like,
brothers.
yo.
We formed a gang right away.
Yeah.
Then, yeah.
That's
So
amazing, man. How old were you guys then?
I was 18 then. Yeah.
Wow, so it's been like 14 years for you
Yeah,
guys,
yeah,
roughly, of
yeah,
being friends.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's a real friendship, man.
Yeah,
It's amazing that, did you ever imagine then, when you guys were 18, you're at film school, you both see each other, two Moroccan, like, did you ever imagine that you would make movies together one day?
Well, yeah, I always thought I was going to be a lonely filmmaker.
Yeah, and I thought I was gonna be like a dictator. My first movies, I was like handling the on camera. I did everything myself because I couldn't like give it to somebody else. So
Yeah, you have your own vision like that, But when we became friends, we were helping each other out with movies, and step by step we realized that we had the same ideas, the same vision. Also, when we would read like a script or a story, in our head, I would explain to him how I see it visually and how cut together with what kind of music, and he said, I got the same thing.
Yeah, it was like super freaky.
Really?
Yeah, it was. It's really phenomenal to have a feeling like that. Like see somebody seeing the same thing.
Yeah,
That's like
it's scary at first.
Yeah, scary. And first of all, I was thinking, what the. Like I'll beat this guy.
Yeah.
In the beginning, you're thinking like, oh, is this person just agreeing with everything I say? Like, that's amazing. That's very rare. By the way, I just wanted to say, and I'm saying this for everyone watching, this is the first time that we've ever done a double guest.
And making
you-
history.
Yeah, literally. This is historic for the podcast. And you've already raised the bar. The chemistry here right now. Now, next time we have double guests, it's going to be hard work to beat you guys. But what did you learn about yourselves and each other in developing that collaboration? Because I feel like when you're 18, we have this childlike collaboration of like, oh, we'd love to work together, it'd be cool. But now that you're actually doing it as adults and you've made multiple movies together, it's like, what have you learned about collaboration and working together in the process?
Well, being collaborating, because I was like a dictator and I wanted my and nobody can touch it. I learned to like listen to all the ideas and be open and absorb everything. So, but I was like everything, perfectionist, and he learned me mostly of you have to let it go sometimes, let it loose, else I'll be working forever on one thing.
And for me, I was the contrary. I was at that time really happy too fast. Like, it's good enough. Not to put too much effort in it. It's good. Nobody's gonna see all the mistakes. It's good enough. And he was like, no, man, you gotta like pay attention to the details. So his crazy perfectionism and my lazy nonchalance, just let it happen. That combination made it work like a very good balance. Yeah,
you know, it's so good hearing that, because I think there's so many people who are listening and watching right now, and they're either trying to do everything on their own, or I know a lot of people who just say to me, Jay, I need to be in a team. Like I need to work with people around me and energy. And it's fun to see how both of you actually thought you were independent, but you found your complementary skills. And that's really good to hear, man.
Yeah, exactly.
I love hearing that.
It's
Like,
teamwork.
teamwork is like central in everything we do. It's actually the most important thing. If we start a project, then it's just like a family, like a team, and bring the best out of everyone to bring the best project.
Because when making movies, it is like you're in a football team. Basically, you gotta have all your awesome players. You know, like the Red Devils.
Are you both Manchester United fans?
Well, I'm more a Tottenham fan because I know you.
I'm Manchester United.
But Tottenham because Jan Vertonghen and Toby Alderweireld, they're my buddies. So
well, we used to have Fellaini.
Yes, I know. Yeah,
Manchester City, man.
We had Lukaku at one point.
Well, the Premier League is practically the Belgian league.
It is, exactly. Oh yeah, I got to interview Hazard last year. Yeah.
Hazard.
You got an amazing team.
Exactly.
But okay, move away from football because we get back to more serious stuff. But it's interesting. I don't know if you read Bob Iger's book. So in Bob Iger's book, he talks about how like at one point Steven Spielberg, Quentin Tarantino, George Lucas, they would all get together and watch each other's movies and give each other feedback.
Yeah.
Like it's amazing to hear that. Like, I mean, do you feel that now that you're in LA and you're spending more time here, like who do you guys go to for mentorship and feedback, and who are you learning from?
Well, obviously working with Will and that's like for us, that's like a mentor. You grew up with him as an actor, but also a great filmmaker with so many ideas, and being with Jerry Bruckheimer, the iconic producer, one of the most famous producers in the world. So those people that we work with, that was already like our first circle. But now that we're here, there's so many directors that we'd love to meet that we are big fans of Scorsese, if we could meet him one day, or Tarantino, or Spielberg, also newer generations. If
Damien
Chazelle hears us, or Barry Jenkins, we'd love to be your boys. So we did that in Belgium, where there's also a new generation of filmmakers that are starting to break out also internationally in television, and we're all friends and we all watch each other's stuff, and it's great to see that we're basically all coming together in Hollywood now. So on the Belgian front, we already have that.
Yeah. Okay. This is awesome. Before we dive into the main part of what I want to talk about today, I want to hear the one thing that annoys you the most about the other person,
that one,
and the one thing that you love about the other person. We'll start with the annoying.
The annoying, but there's a lot of things.
Start.
Yeah,
a lot of things.
Yeah. I know it's difficult to choose one, but there's like a small things. It is, it's for some reason he always like slurps. Sucks on his food, even when it's not a soup.
Yeah, and he always like when he eats with his mouth open, and that sound is so annoying. It's like there's only one sound and there's a. So that makes me nervous.
That's really sorry that I say that.
So you can't eat dinner together.
Yeah, no, it's difficult. I mean, you don't just you're in your zone. We do a headset and we don't talk to each other. So that's.
And what about love? What do you guys love about each other?
Well, one of the things that could annoy me, but actually is awesome, is the fact that he's besides the movie, where he's perfectionist, he's really like let live and let live.
Mm.
Really, like, he's a good guy. He's really chill. He's really, sometimes, I get worked out. I'm pissed off about the small thing. I talk to him and I'll say, I'm so angry. And he's like, come on, man, just take it easy. Be grateful, be chill. I mean, don't worry about it. And I'm like, I wish I was like you. But it calms me down, and the fact that he's really very calm and chill and serene.
Well, the funny thing is, I like when you're mad, because then he has this driving force that takes me, gives me a lot of power to go and that mad, or when you're mad, you put it always in work,
positive,
positive,
canalize it in some positive thing, in positive energy, so that's why it's good that we have this dynamic thing, because he's when I'm too stressed
really
out,
like opposites the whole time.
Yeah, he's like the Zen master, and I'm the energy booster.
Yeah, well, no, it's good. You can tell that you guys are great friends, man. And I want to dive into it now. We want to talk about serious filmmaking stuff, because you guys are incredible filmmakers. You're innovative. When I saw Bad Boys for Life, and I remember you sent me your Belgian movies too, which I had seen. So when I watched them, I was blown away by, whenever you see sequels being made now of movies, it's always it gets harder and harder and harder.
Yeah.
And usually the quality of the movie goes lower and lower and lower and lower.
Yeah.
And obviously I knew you guys before I watched the movie. And so my hope was that you were going to bring something amazing to it. And you did. I think everyone who watched it genuinely believed that the storytelling was incredible. The videography was awesome. Like, it was fresh, it was new, but it still kept the same roots and grounding of what we all grew up watching Bad Boys. But let's tell me that journey, and we'll do the Bad Boys journey, and then we'll go backwards on everything you did in Belgium. Tell me the journey of you two being at film school together, watching things like Fresh Prince growing up and Martin after school, and then you get this call that changes your life, that brings you into this world. Like, tell us about that journey.
Well, yeah, for us, when you're in an art school, mostly they train you to make a very auteur cinema, which is good. It's a good thing. But it's mostly like art house movies, movies that you go to film festivals and stuff like that. So Hollywood is not really a good word there. Hollywood's like, nah, you're not in the right school.
You're not cool. Hollywood's not cool.
No, it's not cool at all. And we, as we would secretly say, so, hey, you like action movies? And it's like, yeah. Hey, do you like Jerry Bruckheimer movies? Yeah. You like Bad Boys? Yeah. Hey, what if one day, if they don't make it, when are they gonna make a third Bad Boys movie? That was what we were starting to say. And
at film school,
and year after year we say, hey, if they don't make a Bad Boys movie, we're gonna make that. Because back then we were 100% sure we're gonna do film school, and then we make one movie in Belgium, and right away we're in Hollywood and we make Bad Boys 3. So that was all the time. The thing that we would talk about is Bad Boys 3 specifically.
We were even saying that we were like the Bad Boys of cinema back then. Like, we related so much to Mike and Marcus.
Yeah, we were always
who?
Well,
I have a little bit of Mike in me, but also Marcus.
Yeah, it depends. Sometimes
I'm Mike.
Yeah, I'm mostly Marcus. But sometimes if everyone want to be badass, I'm a Mike.
But everybody wants to be like Mike Lau.
Yeah, but everybody's mostly Marcus. But funny and sweet and warm and a good guy.
But tell us about that process then. So you've had this dream, you're talking about it, you're thinking about it, which when you first told me that, that blew my mind. Because I was just like, it's so cool when you've talked about something, and it's quite a rare thing to pull off, right? It's like, first of all, they've got to be ready to make another movie. Second of all, you got to be the guys who get picked. Tell us about the process of being picked, chosen, selected, getting the job. How did it work?
Yeah, I just wanted to tell another little story.
Of course.
So when I was 12 years old, I grew up. I was like small, and then I grew really tall, and I became really skinny. And at school, I was like a nerd, and everybody laughed with me. So I was like a big nerd. And after school, I always saw the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, I started to think like, I have to be like that guy, I have to be like open and just like, so because of Fresh Prince, I started to think like, I can be a movie maker. I can do this. I can be cool. And
basically because he was Silly Billy, like Silly Willy. And Will Smith saved his life, basically.
Yeah, basically because of him, I started to open my mind to whatever I can be whatever I want to.
Yeah.
And to make a movie, first Hollywood movie with Will Smith, it's just like bigger than life.
Yeah, and it all started when we met each other. There was a book which was called Black, which was about gangs in Brussels, and it was a Romeo and Juliet story between a Congolese girl, 15-year-old girl that falls in love with a Moroccan guy from a rival gang, and it was a very hard, very shocking story based on true events. And when we read that book, right away we knew, okay, this is gonna be our Do the Right Thing, our La Haine, our Mean Streets. This movie is gonna be our ticket to Hollywood, no matter what. But we were in the first year of film school, and we had flunked that first year when we read the book. So it was like still 4 years to go as the students. So we were like, okay, we need to make this movie by any means necessary, because this is gonna be the one that's gonna bring us to Hollywood. And then once in Hollywood, we're gonna ask for Bad Boys 3. So that was like the ticket.
That was a plan.
Yeah, it was really like that. And they were already planning to make a movie out of that. So we were thinking
Belgium.
Yeah, in Belgium. Game over. We were still students. So year after year, we started to make better short movies. And every short movie was basically a sort of adaptation of that book. Up until we started to win a lot of prizes with a movie that was called Brothers. And then we got the opportunity out of nowhere to direct the adaptation of that book, Black. And that's what we did. And we did this movie. It came out in 2015, and it blew up in Toronto Film Festival. It won a prize there, and that's how the doors of Hollywood opened right away. And the first producer to see the movie was, by chance of God, Jerry Bruckheimer. Wow. And when we thought, it worked. Yeah. This movie is being seen by him, his eyes. And then they said, Will Smith also watched your movies. So like the eyeballs of Will Smith is on our stuff. And that's where we got a meeting to meet Jerry Bruckheimer.
Like one of the first meetings in Hollywood was at Jerry Bruckheimer's office. So
it was 2015, and then they said, "What do you want to do, guys? Bad Boys 3." And I said, "No, it's not available."
There's already a director.
Which is the same situation as with Black, but we were like, okay, we're gonna steal that project somehow. And year after year, we were always like chasing it, and eventually the director, great guy, Joe Carnahan, he dropped out of the project. And then Bad Boys, all of a sudden, in the mailbox, the script of Bad Boys. And like, it's real. And the fact that, when we were like 19, it was, we really wanted it, but it was a dream, and we never thought it was really going to happen. Because when you say, we're going to adapt that book, and then that book's going to go to Hollywood, and then Will is going to see the movie, and then he's going to give us Bad Boys 3. We say that as 19-year-olds. It's just...
we say a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we say a lot of stuff. Yeah. But when it really happens, you're like...
So at the point when we got Bad Boys for Life, the script in our mailbox, we were preparing a Belgian movie, Patser, or the international title is Gangster. And we were like 2 weeks or 3 weeks from the shoot. So Jerry said, "Are you available to make Bad Boys?"
And then we said, no. And we turned it down. And
we turned it down.
That
it was the most difficult no ever.
Because you were already signed up.
And like the whole crew was ready, all the actors, and it was a batch. Yeah, and I could never imagine I could say no to.
I never believed that we would. Yeah, like I can't believe we're going to say no to Bad Boys for Life, to Will Smith, to Jerry Bruckheimer, to Martin Lawrence. And we did that. And it was that's just life, man. It's just, if it was not written for us, it was not written for us. And eventually, in 2018, he came back like, hey, we're going to do it again. And then we said, now we're available. And that's how it all happened. So
it's amazing.
It was meant to be.
That's incredible. Tell me about what it was when you read the book Black and you thought, this needs to be a movie. Like, what was it about the story? What was it that connected with both of you that you felt so confident that was going to be your ticket into the directing world?
Well, for us, because we're from Moroccan origin, Moroccans in Belgium, it's sometimes tough. There is racism, there is poverty among the Moroccan community. There's a lot of there is crime, there's a stigma. So there were no really public figure or filmmakers or actors that looked like us. Everybody was white basically, and also the movie world as well and the TV world. So that's why in film school we're the only twos. And you read that book and you just know, okay, there's never been a story told like that in Belgium. These stories aren't told. And
tell us a bit about the story.
Yeah, the story it was it was about this African and Arab community in those poor neighborhoods that we really know because it's close to us. It's close to our friends, to our families.
Even like at school when we made short movies, it was like in that world.
Yeah.
So it was. we were making all these little stories in that world, and this book is telling.
And actually, you heard about the real story of
Yeah.
this girl that basically, when a girl is in a gang like that in Belgium, she's just an object. You know, she's forced to have sex with everybody of that gang, and it's a very harsh, hard reality that nobody really talked about and nobody wanted to see is that because all the victims are gang members, even though they're just 15, 16 years old. And we felt compelled to really tell this story because it's a reality, and these are victims. They are also, their stories are worth being told to the world.
Yeah, and those stories were like, it was in the newspaper, just one line. Nobody talked about all that violence that was happening in that world. So it is, and because all these victims are from that world, and it's not like
They don't care.
they don't care. So having this story and telling this story from a black girl's perspective was just we felt like this story has to be told.
And at the same time, the casting, there was all the actors never played in a movie before, because in acting schools or in the casting agencies, you didn't have the diversity, and we needed to find them on the streets, and there were some singers, some rappers that eventually got the part, and for the first time, people could go to the cinema and watch the diversity on the screen reflected.
Yeah, I'm just going to explain more about that
please,
casting
tell us.
process.
Yeah.
While I was at school, I saw this movie, City of God, and it was
that
talking.
was a great movie. Yeah,
And I saw like everything about that movie, the making of, and all these actors were from the favelas. So I had just this personal connection with that movie because it was like you don't see Moroccans or blacks on the TV screen. So we were forced to find actors or people that never acted. And this movie was exactly like City of God. We had to like search on the streets, and we knew there is such a big pool of talent that nobody saw.
Yeah.
So we did like 6 months of intensive casting on the street. We went everywhere. For every actor, I can tell you an amazing story.
And also nobody believed, like, really we're gonna play in a movie, because it seems something so inaccessible to them.
Totally.
Then we professionalized them. They played in a movie.
But the thing is, like, for each role, there were like so many good options.
Yeah.
There was like too much talent. So it was really difficult to find the best of the best. So what we did at that point, because after we had all the actors, there was so much other talent. We said we have to start our own casting agency and put them, giving them the opportunity to do other.
Yeah.
To
give the chance, because the thing is that these actors that never thought they would play in a movie before, well, Will Smith saw their performance, and people like Jennifer Lawrence saw their performance, and Margot Robbie, and they're big fans of them. And who can say that that the biggest stars in the world were in awe of their performance? People that were just on the streets, never thinking that it would be part of the movie industry, and that caused like the new generation of dreamers. Basically, now you have these guys. Girls and guys in those neighborhoods of different origins that believe that, okay, you can be an actor or even a director or even a screenwriter. And that was very important to us.
Yeah, another filmmaker that was like a big inspiration, that was Spike Lee. And he was like one of the first big black directors. And all these actors like Denzel Washington and Morgan,
Wesley Snipes.
And even Martin Lawrence.
Yeah.
He brought them to the big screen. And when I was young, I saw Spike Lee was such an inspiration. I was thinking like, one day
Spike Lee of Belgium. That's how we basically started.
And that with Black, we had the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, there's so many beautiful messages in your lives, whether you guys see them or not. Like there's so many beautiful ones. Like, first of all, just having a vision, a dream, a plan. Like, it wasn't just like, oh, we want to do this. It's like you had a plan. You're like, we're going to do this and this is going to happen. And this, it's like you had a plan and you'd envisioned it and you'd seen it become true. Whether you believed it or not at the time, it was there. And then the fact that you're both so purposeful, when I hear you talk about this, it's not like a strategy or a technique or like trend. It's like you guys really care about telling these stories. Like you really believe in the fact that there are these people with no voices. There are these people that are marginalized and, not really understood. And you genuinely believe that they deserve a voice.
Exactly.
And to hear you both do that so purposefully is amazing. Tell me about, you said there's loads. Tell me about just one of the stories of one of the actors that just blows your mind, or one of the actresses that you worked with that you're just like, this person can't believe it. Because I know what you're saying, that if someone came up to you on the street especially in those streets, and said, "Oh, do you want to act in my movie?" You just laugh at them, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so tell us about some of those facets. Just one, a couple of them.
Well, one of the stories, like the leader of the black gang, is his character's ex, and when I had a face in my head, every time I read something, I see a face, and I was just, outside of the place where we were doing the casting, I was just smoking my cigarette outside, and I saw a guy pass with that face, and I was like, this is not true. And he stopped and he looked at the paper, the casting black. He looked at it and he wanted to move on. And I said, wait, stop. I said, come over here. You can do a casting right now. He said, no, I have to go to my work. I have to go in 5 minutes. I said, no, just come inside, just 5 minutes and then you can, but I'm going to be too late. I said, come on. So he went inside. And he got one of the biggest roles of the movie.
Yeah, eventually that's how it happened.
Yeah, and we were searching for months. And every time I saw the actors playing this character, they were always yelling because it's a violent character, yelling. Yeah. And he was the only one that was super quiet when he talked, and it was so dangerous.
And the thing is that the character in the movie is like an ex-child soldiers, because a lot of leaders in those gangs are ex-child soldiers, and our actor, he was not a child soldier, but he lived the civil war in Burundi. So the scenes that we shot with him, where he's looking at civil wars footage on the TV screen, he felt that he understood completely the character. He was very close to the real character.
So what a coincidence!
Yes, it was like a sign.
Another story. I was just just in the center of Brussels eating my bread, and there is this character who's like a white guy, but he wants to be like a Moroccan, street. He wants to be like, he wants to be the most Moroccan of the gang, but he's a white guy. And I was just eating my bread, and we were searching also months for that character. And there was this guy next to me with his two friends, and he was talking. He was like the character. And I said to him, hey, and he was talking about this girl on the other side of the street. And I said to him, try to get her number. I said, no problem, man. I'm gonna get her number. He went there, tried to get her number. He came back and I said, you got her number? He said, no. I said, he said, but next time, another girl. I said, okay, you must be an actor.
Yeah. And he got the part, so it was crazy to see these characters, alive here, and they eventually played in the movie.
And also, the stories about this black girl, and we were the character that plays the main black girl. She was the only one from the whole casting that found her way to us.
Yeah.
We didn't search her. She came to us.
And she was a fan of the book, a huge fan of the book. And it's because of that she eventually went to the casting, because she was such a, she loved the character ever since, she as a young girl read it and always thought that one day there should be a movie about that book. And that's how she became the main actress of the movie. And now she's playing in other movies. And
I can tell you a story about each character.
I know. But your guys' stories literally sound like magic. like when you're just literally, because when you're like, oh, this girl, she loved this book and she wanted, it's so beautiful to hear it. Like it really is. Like it sounds like you listen to music speaking to you guys talk about it, because it's like, it is just the imagination of what happens when you dream. But tell all of us about the days when it didn't feel like magic.
Oh yeah, well,
tell us about the days when you were starting out and you weren't, the magic like this magic wasn't there. Like there was time when money was low or when the production budgets were too low, and you're sitting there, I mean, we've talked about this, you're sitting there editing for hours and you're stressing out.
Yeah.
Tell us about what kept you committed to your dreams.
Well, it's
when there wasn't the feeling of magic.
Yeah, the thing is that you got a lot of fear, you got a lot of, because there's no guarantee. You dream so big and it's so unbelievable. It's like, why would we be with Will Smith making a movie and with Martin Lawrence? I mean, that's for special people. It's for big stars, especially you don't have an example of people like us from Belgium at this young age. So there was no precedent to it. And we had no money, and our family are really poor. And
my family was okay, but when you start to study, you live on your own, no money.
No money. And my family was really poor and they didn't have any money. And movies is basically a job for either the super rich, because you got mom and dad giving, it's like funding your hobby, or for the super poor, because you ain't gonna get any money for years. And it's not something that you cannot do that on the sides. You got to do all the way, go all the way for movies. If that's really your passion, your dream, yeah, you got to spend all your time in it, which means that you don't spend your time earning money. and you know, but it was also the thing that would make us survive. It's like when you say it was our purpose, you know, it was really the thing. Okay, we're in a difficult situation. It sucks. Where I'm sleeping at his place, which is the place of his parents, on somewhere, you know,
in the attic.
in the attic, you know, on a mattress on the ground. But at least we are filmmakers, you know, and you know that one day we're gonna laugh about this. Like 10 years, we're gonna laugh about this. Now it's a struggle, and it's that dream and that passion and that makes you feel alive, that keeps you going, no matter how hard the struggle is. And when we speak to young people, to students, when they ask us, "Yeah, what's your advice?" Our advice is always, or we say, "You're gonna fall flat on your face and ground. It's gonna hurt, but you gotta get up and continue. Just don't be surprised when it's gonna hurt. And it's gonna hurt a lot, but all of that's gonna make you stronger. And through all the struggles, through all the, you know, the heartbreaks and the pain and all of that, that's why when people say, "Hey, how does it feel now that you made Bad Boys and it's a success?" We always say we're relieved. I mean, yeah, you can say you're happy. Of course you're happy, and you say, but we're like, whew, we went. It was a hell of a ride. It was dangerous, like an action movie. You thought you were going to die, and eventually you survived that ride. And yeah, you know, making Bad Boys was the hardest year of our lives. It was maybe the worst year of my life.
Yeah,
you know,
everybody's like, "Oh, it was such a fun movie." It was probably also really fun to make it.
It was. I think I went deep, man. I went really deep in darkness, in sadness, and I would ask, hey, you know, it's like our dreams that come true. I didn't know it was going to be a nightmare sometimes. And he said, "It's always like that." It's a big change, big achievement, and it's gonna
with
hurt.
a lot of pain.
It's gonna hurt, and you know, it's well said that it's like, you know, you're on a mountain, really now fast and high, and you cannot breathe because, you know, there's not a lot of oxygen, and you're like panicking. And the thing is, you want to go down quickly, but he said, "No, stay there." You stay on that level and get used to it and starts to breathe, no panic. And then after a while, you get used to it, and the pain and the heartbreak and the doubts, they go away because like, oh yeah, okay, I'm getting used to it. And some people around you will be on the same level and also learn to adapt with you. But some other will like, no, go down and pull you down. And they said, "No, stay on that level." That's what Will said to me when I was really drained. I've been crying for an hour on set, and said, "Whatever's going through your head, it's gonna be all right. I'll tell you." So
it helps having him motivate you. And
it was like a godsend. You know, there must be a sign, something from the universe or God, that from all the stars you could work with, it's him. It's motivational speaker Will helping, because he was, sometimes we would have lunch meetings and not talk about the movie, but he would talk about life and how, you know, and how to heal yourself. And as around that period that I got to know you, you know, a person very dear to me talked about you, and she said, "You know, you should listen to Jay Shetty." And I was like, "Who's that guy?" And like, you know, you just got to do your own stuff. Don't listen to all that's things. And then I started to listen to you, and it was like medicine. It was like, whoa, what is that? It's like, it's as if, where were you all my life, Jay? I needed you all my life. And it opened up a whole world to me of the healing and growing and on the spiritual level, you know, because I always thought, when I achieve something, and same for you, you achieve something and then you're going to be happy and then you're going to be good. Like, oh yeah, okay, we're struggling, we have no money, but one day we're going to make our first movie and then we're going to be fulfilled. And then it doesn't happen. We make our movie, but you're not fulfilled. Then, oh yeah, we're going to make a better movie. And then, oh, we're going to go to Hollywood, and then we're going to make Bad Boys. And when you make Bad Boys for Life with those 2 stars and you're on the top of the game and still you're not happy, you crash, and then, you know, you got to find something else. You're going to find something deeper. And listening to you,
it was so funny that Adil is like, before you, before Bad Boys, he was like totally not motivational. He didn't like all the quotes. He didn't like, you know, all those deep meanings. He was like trashing everybody. Like every time I saw, because I was like into it on Instagram, and I started to like getting to the podcast, and I was like, and all of a sudden I see Adil like listening to you, and I'm like, you're listening to Jay Shetty?
Well, for me, it was like when I started listening to you, it kept it a secret. So when we met, I didn't tell him because I was, he's gonna say I'm some crazy, And then when he saw the picture that you and I took on Instagram, he said, "You know Jay Shetty? You're a fan too." It's like you kept it secret.
I was not telling him because I was going to my process.
Yeah. And it's like it's crazy that we talk about everything, but you were our secrets.
That is the best story about me I've ever heard. That is amazing. I love that. That's hilarious. Thanks for sharing that, man.
Okay.
My spirituality, because we're Muslims, it's also been a strong force throughout our throughout the pain, and every time when you don't make it, you just accept the fact that God has a plan for you, and that's something that I always hold on to. Like you want to achieve the dream, but imagine I did everything I can. That's the most important thing. At the end of my life, I have to talk to myself and say, you did everything for your dreams, and if it didn't work out.
It didn't work out.
It's just the way.
Yeah.
And if you believe in that, you accept everything. You start to accept everything.
It's in God's hands or in the universe's hands.
Yeah. Whatever spirituality you have, I think it's important to have.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
In the journey to your dreams.
And you see that in so many incredible people's lives, their faith and belief in God or the universe was such a important thing for them. You look at the people that made the biggest changes in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
They all had that.
Yes.
And so you can see how important it is for all of us in the way, because you both are change makers. Like you're filmmakers, but you're change makers. Wow. Because you're trying to make films that change people's lives. You're not just trying to make films. Like messages are so important. Tell us about, so you talked about the advice that Will was giving you, which is beautiful to hear, because I know the same. Like Will's so philosophical. We had that conversation that we were together at, like it was brilliant. But it's like, tell us about the advice that you had to give Will and Martin. Tell us about that process of when you're sitting with like, like you respect these guys. Like I had to make that trailer with them, right? And like for me, you weren't there that day. I needed your help. Like when I got the call to be on that trailer, so it was the production company that Sony was working, whatever. And they were like, we want you to be in this trailer and we want you to come in and we want you to be a life coach or a therapist for Will and Martin. And it's kind of like couples therapy. And they were very respectful. They were like, like we don't want to make coaching look bad or like, are you? And I was like, no, this is great. It's fun. And I was like holding the phone going, this is amazing. I was so excited. And so I want
to put that scene in the movie.
I know. I'm like, why was it? No. And I was so nervous because, I'm like, and I've spent time with Will before, but I was so nervous to like be in an acting setting with him. I was like, what do I know, man? Yeah. And so I went to acting class for 4 days in a row.
For real?
Yeah, 2 hours.
You did it really well, by the way.
Thank you, man. Thank you. But I went every day to acting class because I was like, I can't go in there and not feel comfortable and confident.
Yes, exactly.
And it's just like, I went in there and I was like, wow, like this is gonna, it's when you've looked up, the same with me. I grew up on Fresh Prince, my favorite show of all time. Yeah. I'd watched it 1,000,000 times every episode. So I feel everything you guys are saying. How hard is it to then go in there and then have to give advice, give feedback, give direction as directors? Tell us about that.
Well, it's, I was 7 years old when the first Bad Boys was made. And now you got to 25 years later, you're there and you have Will Smith and Martin Lawrence who play these characters who know everything, who know the industry, 30 years in the biz and 30 years, that's our age. And then
we're just two rats from Belgium.
We don't know. And then you're going to have to say to Will and Martin, look, you could do this better. And they could easily say, I've been doing this for 30 years, and they never did that. They never said that because...
Unbelievable how humble they are.
Yeah. Wow. They would ask us, Will and Martin, so how do you think? Is it good? And we in the beginning were like, you're Will and Martin, of course it's good. We're not going to, say anything. But the thing is that they chose us. They chose us to be their directors. So they want you... They want you to direct them. And sometimes Will, in the first week, Will tested us.
He tested us.
There was something he didn't want to do. He didn't want to wear the badge, the cop badge on the chain. Okay. For some reason, he didn't want. And every time he had
for us, it was super cool to have the Miami badge,
because of the second movie, they have that. And then, every time he had a good argument, a filmmaker's argument, like a scene, said, no, we're at the bar, we're not on an intervention, so no reason to do it. So, okay. Another scene, he said, we're just walking here. We're not in an intervention. No reason to do it. All right. And then there was only one scene left. If we don't have that, it's never in the movie. Yeah. And it was an intervention scene. So we go to Will, and it was the first week of shoot. So, where's your badge on the chain? And we'll say, oh no, we're not gonna do that because what? It's an intervention scene. And then he said, in front of the whole crew, everybody, he said, this is so unnatural. This is so wrong on so many levels. And we're like, and then heartbeat goes fast. He's like, well, he's talking. He's like, he's not agreeing with you, pretty angry. And then this is wrong. This is wrong. And then Martin can wear it. Martin, I would wear the badge. Well, he can wear it. Then, no, it's both or nobody. 45 minutes. And after 45 minutes, you got to wear the badge well. And it's okay, I will do it for you. Only for you. But know that it's wrong. It's so
and the
wrong.
whole crew was looking at us.
Yeah.
And I felt so bad.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe he doesn't have to wear it.
And no. We won. Let's keep the badge. And we never knew why, but I think he did that to test us. Like, really, are you guys, we're fanboys, but are you also going to be directors?
Yeah.
And
that process was the whole time. Even with the script, if we had an idea, he went like, why? And like asking so many questions. We had to like, normally we think till a certain point, but he pushes us to go all the way.
Like, why, as a filmmaker's creative standpoint, do you want to do that? And if you really, as a creative, you want to do that, he fights for you. He falls on the sword for your ideas. So that was really great.
Wow, that's awesome, man. That's great to hear. And this is what I love about this conversation that we're having, is that people see like getting the movie seems like an achievement, but actually the challenge starts there.
Yeah.
Because you're now in the big league. You're now working with people that you admire. And on top of all of that, you've got to realize the fact that now you're being judged for real directing and real filmmaking on a high level, which seems like a high challenge. How did you guys prepare yourself to learn how to be open to recognizing that now the challenge starts and still allow your creativity? Like, when you were doing Black, you had a lot of guerrilla filmmaking, you were trying taking a lot of risks. You're like, how did you let that energy stay, or did you actually have to change energy?
Well, we had our cameraman, Robrecht Hava, great guy who did all our student short movies and all our...
You still work with him?
Yeah.
It
looks...
That's also a story.
We said to Sony, okay, we only have one requirement. Our DOP, director of photography, our cameraman, is Rob, is the guy who did all the Belgian movies. Without him, we don't do the movie. And we were prepared to turn the movie down if they don't let us.
We said we ain't gonna do the movie without Rob.
And all of a sudden, this 15-year-old looking guy who never made a big Hollywood movie makes $100 million movie with these great stars. And that was...
So you have to imagine, as a studio and Jerry Bruckheimer, and you have two young guys who never made a big Hollywood movie. Our biggest budget is like 3 million and this is like 100 million. And then the cameraman is also somebody who never did this, like
who's in charge for all the image. It's also the same guy like us. But having us three basically helped us in eventually thinking it's the same as making a movie in Belgium. Because the first couple of weeks you don't breathe, you don't sleep. You're like,
it's like dead or alive.
It's also weird because it's like a dream. It's weird to be on set of a big Hollywood movie with like 250 people
and being in a movie yourself.
Like this iconic. We always thought this is like an episode of Punk'd. Michael Bay's gonna come and say, it was just a joke. It was just for a TV show, actually, guys. I mean, because it's like you don't fit, you don't belong there. It's like you enter the making of or something, but the thing is, the eyes of the world on this movie, whereas when you do a Belgian movie, it's only the eyes of some Belgians. If you tank, nobody's gonna know. But there, if you crash hard.
And there are so many fans in the world that grew up with that. You don't wanna.
And the thing is that it's like as if you're in the war, or you gotta jump in the water, and either you're gonna like sink, or you gotta swim. Even you think, I cannot swim all that ocean. You're gonna have to learn and do that, and before you know, when you do that switch, not thinking too much, actually, not overthinking, basically not overthinking.
Yeah, but you guys broke through imposter syndrome, because that's what so many people struggle with. That when you finally made it into what you always wanted, and now you're like, oh, maybe I'm not actually meant to be at this table. Like maybe we don't deserve to be here. Like what makes us deserve to be here? What made you trust the process? Like what made you feel like you were like, no, actually, we've worked for this and we're going to deliver something? Because when you watch the movie, I mean, there are so many great parts in the movie where I'm like, I love the part where you think it's a funeral, but it's the wedding. I love in the beginning where you think it's a car chase, but it ends up being that they run into the hospital. Like to me, like all those moments are genius and they're brilliant and they're shot so well that you completely are in and you think it's something. And I'm like, you definitely owned it.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
exactly.
you owned it. Like there was no part of me. If I didn't know you guys, let's say I didn't know you guys,
Yeah.
and I went and watched the movie, I would not have known that someone who'd never made $100 million budget movie made it.
Oh,
I would
thank
just
you.
never have known. Like you wouldn't even think of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? But that's why I'm happy I know you guys.
Yeah.
Because it just makes me believe even more that imposter syndrome is just a belief set.
Exactly. It's a thing, you know. I mean, the imposter syndrome would be just once in a while. Like we would look at each other and look at the DP, and you say, "It's weird that we're here, right?"
yeah, it's like-
and
it's
you look
like-
at the monitor. You have Will and Martin, and Jerry is like, "Whoa, that's some freaky dick," and then it goes away right away because you got to work. And the thing is that you got to power through that, but also it's the crew and the cast that's around you, the trust that you get from people that become family, and when you feel like you're between friends and
family.
between family, that is what really helped us the most going through that imposter syndrome, feeling safe and feeling the trust and the love of everybody around you. And that's the same thing with you. You know, we were scared of coming to the podcast because we're big fans, huge fans of your podcast. We listened to that and we're like, whoa, how deep everybody's speaking, how smart,
Yeah.
and we're like intellectual lightweights. But talking now with you is like we feel like you are bro.
Yeah, we're family.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
family, and that's what helps us going, that trust and that love and that caring and respect that helps us, just go with the flow, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many days I had doubts. Like I was thinking I am totally not good so many times, but it's the people that surround you is like a super important aspect in this process.
Yeah.
And you guys are natural storytellers. Like even when you're telling me the story of the actors, and people behind the
Yeah.
scenes, like you guys are brilliant. Like that is, I felt your energy when we met, and when I wanted you on the podcast is because I wanted people to feel that. And I love how genuinely vulnerable you are about being excited about what you're excited about.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I think what happens sometimes is people make it or go somewhere and then they act like all cool about it.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh yeah, it's just, it's just meant to be.
Yeah, it's just
like,
act.
I remember, like for me, it was things like, first time when I went on Ellen,
Yeah.
like that for me was just I was
yeah.
like flipping Ellen, like watch my interview and want me to come on the show. Like that's so cool. Like,
Same.
and it's like, it's so fun to celebrate stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like sometimes we get scared of celebrating because we think it makes us look less.
Yeah.
But actually, it's just, you're right. We're just kids who just are living these incredible lives. And I love feeling like that.
I listened to the podcast with Jada, and it was like, oh my God, he's interviewing Jada, and I'm like, oh, but we know Jada.
Yeah.
So that's the vibe that we have.
Yeah,
and
but I like seeing it with you guys.
Yeah.
And I want people to experience that too, that you don't ever have to pretend to be someone you're not, or you never have to lose that excitement and that,
authenticity has always been something very important to us, and we did everything to keep that same authenticity in a Hollywood movie, because we could have done maybe any action movie, but the thing about Bad Boys is that these two characters, it's us. It's
Yeah.
retold with this movie, a very personal story, what it means to be like the ride together, die together, what it means sometimes when, you're almost on the verge of a breakup, you don't want to do the same thing, you have another vision. Sometimes there were periods where we didn't want to make movies together, like this is over, man, I got another vision, and in the end it comes together, and by reading that script of those two characters, we felt like this is us.
Yeah,
Through Bad Boys.
I think every human being in the world searches that same connection with somebody, that friendship, that if times go up, that you have somebody
who's
having
your
your back, and that friendship that Mike and Marcus has is so universal and so beautiful and so personal at the same time. It's just
It was a very personal story. This is a $100 million action movie.
What were the other messages? I think that's important because you've focused on making movies that have messages
Yes.
before this.
Yeah.
I felt when I was watching, there were a ton of messages like the one you just shared. What were other messages that you were trying to, that, maybe we need to watch it again and notice that? And what were some of the messages that were big for both of you?
Well, it was, working with Will is like the grow or die message, basically.
Yeah.
Even though, when you make all movies have a certain message, and you don't want to message, because it becomes cheesy. But it's like the underlying theme, and it's you want to have an arc where people evolve. And this Mike Lowry character, he's at the start of the movie a certain way. He wants to remain strong and young, and wants to remain the image of Michael Lowry
Yeah.
and forgets how to become just himself.
Yeah.
The normal Michael Lowry, and
Except the fact that he's growing.
he's
Yeah.
growing. He's and in
Getting
film
older.
and it can be weakness. Weakness is not actually really a weakness. Being able to show a weakness, a vulnerability, is a strength. And that is something that he learns, and that is something that we too, when we were, starting, because when you're Moroccan, you're very like macho culture. And you're man. After, if you keep this like in a kind of cocoon or
Cling on that thing,
like,
and you don't let it go.
basically you break yourself, you crash. And that is something that we learned, during the making of this movie, where we all crashed eventually. It's like, you gotta let it go, and you gotta find ways to grow and to heal yourself, and allow yourself to be vulnerable and to be open and
You really changed.
yeah.
He wasn't like that before. Bad Boys really changed him.
Yeah, this experience,
As a person, his soul really changed during the.
yeah.
You guys really disrupted, I feel like, just what you're just saying right now. Like, that's what I noticed in the movie when I was watching it, that you were able to show the weakness of the character we all grew up admiring or wanting to be like.
Yeah.
And showing that it was actually better for him to
Yeah.
be vulnerable to that.
Yes.
Rather than just continue to pretend. And I thought that was really, it was bold as well. It was a bold move.
Yeah.
But it was also very culturally relevant right now
Exactly.
to show that in a man and being more vulnerable.
Yeah, and
But
it's very relatable, so.
Very relatable for all of us. And I really feel you guys have disrupted the industry, because even when I hear you say stuff like, oh, we're not going to do this if it's not our DP, right? Like if you're not bringing your crew with you.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see, and I don't think you guys are ever going to change, because you're just who you are. Like, I'm excited to see how you continue to represent diversity, how you continue to tell stories of people that are not told enough. What kind of stories are exciting you right now in general? Not just the ones that you're making movies on, but have you heard any stories recently or read any books or anything like that you're like, oh, I'm fascinated by this right now?
But there's a lot of stories that are, obviously now in this time in culture, it's the great opportunity to tell stories of people of different ethnicities, different backgrounds, stories that you didn't usually see that much, on the big screen. And for us, because it's important, we're Muslims, we're Arabs, we're Moroccans, we're Africans, things like that are very important to us. Just as fans, seeing that there are more and more female filmmakers. This year it was a lot of women filmmakers, and it's going to be more and more in every kind of genre. Just seeing that evolution is so exciting and interesting.
To be a part of that.
Yeah, to be a part of
big
this new
honor.
generation of filmmakers that's so diverse. And
To see Parasite in a total, not in English language. That's
Win the Oscars.
That's history. That's
Yeah.
a milestone for cinema.
Yeah.
It's just us. We don't want to make movies only in English. We want to tell stories. If it's in China, we want to keep it in Chinese language, or in Germany, it has to be in German. So
the fact that it's very diverse and very exciting. These kind of stories, that's what we're looking for now. And we would love to make movies back in Belgium as well. About our community and alternate that with American movies. And in a very naive way, we believe that movies can save the world.
Yeah,
and
I'm with you.
Yeah, exactly. For us, there are two reasons. One reason is just as filmmakers, when we did Bad Boys, you have 250 people on the crew. And nowadays we all say there's people don't agree anymore, people are polarized and all of that. But we gotta say that when you make a movie, you got 250 very different people for different backgrounds, different ethnicity, different history, different political views, their religion. They're all super different. On the paper, they would say they never will get along.
yeah, they're like totally opposite.
It would be war. And on our movie, they're all together like a family, working for the same goal, working for one vision, and we're all friends. And then you see that everybody's so different, but everybody's working together. And it's not what you hear sometimes, that it's like, everybody's like on their own. No, a movie set proves that we are all able to go in the same direction for the same goal. And it's maybe very naive, but I just see it as a proof. It happens.
That's true.
And in theory, they would be enemies, but on our crew, they're all allies and friends and family, and they care about each other. And on the other hand, movies is something very empathetic. You cannot make a movie or watch a movie if you don't have empathy. And empathy is something that you talk a lot about. And it's just crazy that everybody in the world no matter where you are, what you are, you have empathy for this character that you don't know. It's a character you don't know. It may be also a fictitious character, a character from another planet, from another era, and you feel for that character. You fall in love maybe for that character. You hope that the character is gonna make it. You're gonna cry if that character dies, and that's crazy. That proves that movies make people human, and that empathy exists through movies. So that's why in this very childish way we think movies save the world.
No, it's not childish, man. You guys, I feel the same way. The reason why I started doing podcasts or media or videos and all of that was because I felt that media changes our vocabulary around an issue, around a theme. Like when you were able to show a man's vulnerability, like now it's like, oh, wait a minute, I think I'm Mike Lowry, but he's growing when he's doing that. Oh, maybe I should do that, right? It's like we mirror what we see in media all the time. And I feel like media is always going to lead the way because more people are going to watch movies than read books. More people are going to watch movies than come to a course or a workshop or a seminar. It's always going to be the same way. And therefore, I'm so happy that people like you are making movies.
Thank you.
Because I feel like our faith is in good place. Like, you know, we need storytellers who want to tell those stories, who want to have deeper messages, but in a smart and entertaining way. And I think you guys do it beautifully. So we're going to do what we always do on the podcast, as you know it, because you listen.
Yes.
We've added another segment recently, which I don't think you would have heard yet because it's in the new episode. It's called Fill in the Blanks.
Oh, fill in the blanks.
So I read a sentence and you both have to fill in the rest of the sentence. So we'll go both of you. Whoever goes first. I don't mind. You decide who goes first. Okay. Being a director is similar to?
Being a captain of a boat.
Exactly.
And sometimes it can be the Titanic.
Okay, good.
No, exactly.
No, you can't say that. No, you can't say that.
Being director is
Similar to.
is
Trenches.
pretending you know it.
Okay, good answer. A great movie starts with.
A great title.
Okay.
Oh, I would say a killer opening scene.
Okay, good. All right. The best way to manage actors is.
Being a psychiatrist, a lawyer, a politician, a diplomat.
All the skills.
Gotta be everything. All right. There is no film without.
Empathy.
Oh, nice.
Camera.
All right, good. All right. Working with a partner is.
Love.
Riding together, dying together.
Nice. I like it, guys. All right. The one film I wish I made is.
Star Wars.
Well, there's a lot, but I would say.
But you know, Star Wars is such a big universe.
Just between us, Star Wars is like the Greeks had their mythology. We have Star Wars. The new Greek mythology. Just between it became a religion even now. So
I did.
It came out of one mind.
Yeah.
And the whole universe it's created is unbelievable. It's infinite.
I would say Jurassic Park.
Oh,
yeah.
Park,
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
Jurassic Park's a good movie. All right. Martin Lawrence and Will Smith are both
brothers for life.
For life.
Nice. When I first started directing, I wish I knew
that no matter how big the movie is going to be, that movie is not necessarily going to make you happy or bring you happiness. It's going to be something else.
That's beautiful, man.
And no matter how big the budget is, there is never enough money, never enough time.
Nice. That's good answers. These are great. My proudest moment has to be.
There are lots, but I think being able to show the movie to my dad, basically, to have him in. He was sitting in the theater next to you.
I know. It's so nice to meet him.
Yeah, and he knew also his wife is a big fan of you, so you're a secret fan. You're secret fans of you, but being able, he's there. You see the movie, and it's the first. Maybe also the first time he met Will Smith, because the very first single I got was Miami by Will Smith. And he met him for the first time in Miami.
Oh, wow.
My proudest moment is that I always kept going.
Yeah.
Kept going. Yeah.
Nice.
That it's the movie is made. It's just
Amazing.
my proudest thing.
I love it, man. All right, these are your final five, your fast five, which you guys know about. So the first question I'm going to ask you is, if someone gave you $300 million in funding, what movie would you make and who would you cast?
Oh,
A new Star Wars.
new universe.
Something
Yeah.
that's not based on any books. It's just like George Lucas. You come up with something new, and then you have nerds doing fan fiction and making war with
making
each other on
clothes
Twitter
and toys.
Yeah.
And it goes on generation to generation.
It just he created like a monster, like George Lucas. He created Frankenstein, basically, in the movie world. So that.
I love it. That's a good answer. Okay, let's do this question. What advice would you give to young filmmakers out there?
You gotta stay true to yourself and do something with your heart.
Yeah.
Because if you make something just for the sake of it, so just for the money, you may earn a lot of money, but you're gonna lose a year of mindfulness, of your soul and all that. So it's gotta be something true to your soul.
Yeah.
Something that feels the soul.
And be prepared to have a lot of pain. Just you're gonna fall a lot, and be prepared to. Don't be scared to make mistakes. Because making mistakes, that's when you learn.
I love it. It's good answers. All right. Question number 3, your favorite movie and why?
My favorite is JFK by Oliver Stone.
Ah.
Because it's, I was very young. I was 9 years old when I saw that. And it's a historical movie about something that really happened, about conspiracy theories, and it makes you think. And it's a movie that has an impact also in real life, because in '92 the Congress had to release check out, we didn't kill JFK, okay? But if you can make a movie that has an impact in society in real life, that is really, that's what we want to do. So JFK.
Yeah, for me it's a French movie called La Haine, and it's about the banlieues, the ghetto in France, in Paris, and for me, because I grew up with Hollywood movies, and this was the first time I saw a movie with Moroccan or a black guy from like the same world as me, and it was shot in a way, it was like cinema, it was like in a Hollywood way it was shot, and then I understood that maybe I can do that too. Maybe that made me believe that I could do a movie. And I think that's the most beautiful thing you can do as a filmmaker or any artist, is if you can inspire somebody to do it. Nice. That's what Lion did for me.
Awesome. Question number 4 out of 5. What's happening with Beverly Hills Cop 4 and Adam Sandler? What's happening? I saw the story.
So when we didn't get Bad Boys, we got Beverly Hills Cop 4. So we thought this is going to be the movie we're going to make in 2016. Didn't happen. Then Bad Boys came. And because Bad Boys worked out, now we got Beverly Hills Cop 4. Woo! And we're working on it.
Yeah,
we're working
amazing.
on it. Eddie Murphy.
Murphy's the godfather.
So the way we look at Will Smith, Will Smith looks the same way at Eddie Murphy. For him, it's like, it's the Don, and making a movie with a legend like that would be next level. And Adam Sandler, he's just the coolest guy ever, sweetest guy ever. And he said, hey, if we find something to work together, let's do it. You know? So,
what he did in Uncut Gems was so unbelievable.
Yeah.
And he has so much to offer.
Yeah. I love it. All right, 5th and final question.
All right.
So we can stop being in this sauna right now.
I love
sauna. But Dr. Daniel Amen, who was on before, he told me that this is good for our brains.
Okay.
He said, So that's
Thank
why
you for
I'm using
that wisdom.
No. I'm just giving an excuse for why I'm
Thank God.
this pain. Me and you are like, okay. 5th and final question. What is the biggest lesson you've learned in the last 12 months for you? Doesn't have to be professional or whatever.
Oh yeah, one.
Wow.
When I'm in a meeting or I have a good idea, somebody says something good or bad, or I think it's good or bad, I gotta say, let me think about it. Because I didn't do that enough. And when you're in Belgium with a small movie, your reaction or your decisions don't have that much consequence as a $100 million movie.
Yeah.
And whether I was enthusiastic for something or I hated something, I should have just said first, let me think about it before I say, oh no. So that's what I learned the most.
Nice.
Let me think about it.
For me, it's let me say it. It's sometimes I'm in a meeting and I'm thinking something and I'm like, I I think I have to say this, but I'm not gonna say it.
Right.
And that makes a big difference because sometimes it's too late, and then you say, I had to say it. So don't regret, say it, don't be afraid.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to learn that. Don't be afraid of saying what you think.
And in the worst meetings that we had is because he didn't say it and I didn't say, let me think about it.
That was
That we crashed.
I love it, man. I love it. You guys are the best. Honestly, this is the most fun I've ever had. Like, this is so good. Like,
Thank you,
I could
Jay.
sit and talk to you guys for hours. Like, I'm genuinely so excited to see the movies you guys are going to create.
Thank you.
I want to serve and support in any way that I can. I'm here for you guys if you ever need me.
Can't wait to read
You
your
got-
book, man.
Yeah, you got-
Yeah.
yeah. Thank you. I'll definitely get you guys copies. But yeah, don't literally, you guys can call me anytime I can help either of you with anything. And just, yeah, I'm so proud of seeing what you guys are doing. And I know that there are so many people out there who are listening and watching that can be inspired by you guys. And I can only hope that you continue to be the same way because you guys are great just the way you are, man. And
Thank you, bro. Give me a hug.
it's
Big love, big love.
I just want to say, Jay, thank you for being in our lives.
Do it, man. You guys are the best. Thank you so much. Everyone who's been listening and watching, go and follow these guys on Instagram. Go and find them. We will tag them into all the posts. Go and follow their work. Go and support everything they do. They've got so many more amazing stories to tell. They're just getting started. Please, please, please go and give them all your love and all your support and anything that they said because they're so humble that they don't know it. They dropped so many lessons today. They dropped so many messages today. They dropped so many beautiful insights today. I want you to share those insights. I want you to tag all three of us so we can see it, mainly so that they can see it, because I want them to realize how many beautiful lessons they're sharing with the world. So